Agarbatti is something that you find in every home in India. To some, it's form of aromatherapy. To some, this is a way to fill the house with divine energy. It is a part of every Indian culture. Have you ever wondered what happens to the money you spend on these incense sticks? Of course, a part of it goes to running the company, but what about the rest? Let's find out in today's episode of Twinkle at Twilight. Our today's guest is Sumku Jagannath. He is a partner at Parimal Mandir, Parimal Aromatics, Geo Fragrances, and PM Offset Printers. He was the president of All India Agarbatti Manufacturers Association, founder vice chairman of Federation of Agarbatti Manufacturing Enterprises, committee member of Federation of Karnataka Chamber of Commerce and Industries, managing trustee at Mysore Udubatti Manufacturers Charitable Trust. He is also a trustee at Vasavi Hospital, Bangalore. We are with him today not because of his commercial achievements, but because of his achievements in the field of social service. He is managing trustee at Asha Kirana Dialysis Center. Let's now hear from him on how all of this started.
This has been started in 1972 by one of our fellow fraternity member, B.V. Ratnaya Shetty of B.V. Ashwati and Sons. Is ideological and the thought, and is a visionary person along with my father and other people like R. Guru, Subbarao, everybody had joined, and they started a charitable trust for the purpose and the welfare to the Agarbatti employees. That was their main object. So it has started in 1972, and now it is already 50 years over. And right from the beginning, all elders, everybody started doing everything, and every year they started growing. And their idea was to educate, health, if anything happens in the family, marriages, for that, this money we have to provide. Since the laborers or people are working for us night and day, which we want to give back, which we are give back to the society. That was their motto. So after a few years, it was running by donating Vidyabhisheka, health, etc. And when I took the position as a managing trustee, the income was for per annum is 50 lakhs, 45 to 50 lakhs. With this small amount, we can't do anything because we can't give to all the employees. So then I started why we should not do expansion program, generate the income and distribute. I took this as a challenge in 2004, and first I made how to increase the revenue for this trust. So I went and approached the State Bank of India for to give 30 lakhs loan for the construction of another 3 floors. So by wholeheartedly they have sanctioned, and with that money we have made it 2 floors, 3 floors, and then we got the generating of the income by way of rent. That was one part. And the second part, the existing tenants who are there, I called the meeting, all the tenants. I requested them that whatever the rents we are giving, it is not insufficient. You have to make it a big amount for the cost. Everybody has agreed. But after 3 years, from 2004 to 2007, the income went double. That is 1 crore.
Okay.
So with that 1 crore, we were doing all the activities, and this was going some decades. And then I requested all the members to charge 10 rupees in a bill for the MOMCT, and you have to donate this thing.
Okay.
So with this, you got a very good income.
Okay.
And by going down the line, COVID-19 started. So few of our trustees, why don't we start when there is an empty place of 6,000 square feet? We can do it. So by the time we started, the COVID had gone down. Then when we decided to go for the something like medical, we thought of going for dialysis. Why dialysis means? We used to pay 2 lakhs every month to the St. John's Hospital, and we used to recommend the poor people to give it treatment. So St. John's Hospital, they used to charge 600 rupees at a subsidy price,
Okay.
and we used to pay 2 lakhs every month.
Okay.
So then when we are paying 2 lakhs to the, why don't we start our own? This was the idea. So one of my fellow, Ramesh, KL Ramesh, he started, and we started working on that. And finally one shape came in 2021. Then we have made trustees of, in the industries, about 14 trustees. They have all agreed. But at that time, I didn't elaborate anything, whether it is going to be free, whether it is going to be a commercial. Then the formalities, everything is happened, and we had a grand puja of inauguration. That's what we called as the Gudili Puja.
Yes.
Then, in the very first meeting, I suggested this will not go for a commercial money. This we want to give a free treatment for the poor and needy people. Priority will be given to the Agarbatti employees, then followed by poor people. So our hospital has started like this with a eligibility, it should be a poor. To get poor, the team is there, they are working everything, and then afterwards they are admitting, and we are giving a treatment till now.
What started as an idea to help the workers of the Agarbatti industry then turned into helping COVID patients and then into starting a dialysis center. Truly a wild story. His idea when starting the dialysis center was that the treatments would be free and only for the poor. Initially, the other trustees weren't okay with the idea mainly because they didn't think this would sustain for long. Even though they were making profits, the expenses are huge and they will soon run out of funds. They would need donations to run them. At that moment, a miracle occurred. Another company came forward and offered a helping hand. Let's listen to what happens next.
And the first donation, we got it from VRL Transport,
Vijayanand Road Lines.
Vijayananda Road Lines. So when we requested the chairman, he said, I will come to that place. Once out of that, I will take a call. So he came. At that time, it was the construction was going on. And with openly, he has told that I'll give you 30 lakhs contribution. Whatever the money you want to buy, you can go ahead. So that was the first big amount, we got it, followed by our Agarbatti fellow manufacturers like Srinivasa Sugandhalia. They are also very 50 years company. Then when we requested him, he has readily agreed for to give 50 lakhs. Okay. Readily agreed. Then he has started these two big amount, made all the trustees confidence. Yes, we can run this show. When two people can pay 80 lakhs, why not others? So the inspiration started, and without having anything, fund, idea, medical, it is a God blessings, I can tell you, it is not a human, can we do this? No.
Correct.
Then we took a challenge and we completed and we started treatment in matter of 1 year. It is a really a record break through we went. So after 1 year, I mean, the treatment started free 100%. We didn't know how much the incur cost for one dialysis. Finally, we came to know it's about a quality dialysis comes 2,000 rupees per dialysis. This can be reduced, but the
Quality.
no, the quality and the what is that cylinder, the
Okay. The dialyzer, what you use.
dialyzer
Yeah.
that we have started using for one dialyzer for one patient.
Okay.
See, the other hospital, what they do with
Very-
one dialyzer, they go for 2, 3 with a different.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to go for that because of cost cutting. We went to say that we should give 100% clean treatment for the people. Otherwise, if we have started doing that, the cost will come 50%. That is 1,000 rupees. Our cost will be there, including the consumables, everything.
True.
It means we have given a good quality treatment, and with this, we have to face a lot of problems initially about the blood, about the iron injection, about the vitamin injection.
Protein.
All
Yeah.
these things came in the way,
Correct.
and we said, no, we will not charge anything. We don't have a cash counter at all. We will provide 100% quality with all these things.
This is actually crazy. We visited Asha Kirana Center and found that there was no cash counter at all. When have you ever gone to a medical facility and seen that there is no cash counter? This is because everything is completely free. This even includes all the supplements and medication and not just the treatment. It's easier said than done. All the doctors, nurses, and other staff need to be paid. They also need to pay for the lab tests, water treatment, equipment maintenance, and for the other consumables. We managed to talk to one of the faculties that worked there. She was the one who welcomed us when we first stepped foot in the facility. She is one of the people taking care of the day-to-day work at the center. This is what she had to say.
Mysore Udbatti Manufacture Charitable Trust, shortly known as MOMCT. ಇದು 50 years old organization. So, Mysore Udbatti main motto, starting setup ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ main motto was to help the agarbatti industry. ಅವರ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಅಜೆಂಡಾದಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಜನರಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. ಸೊ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್, ಕ್ರೀಡ್, ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬರೀ ಅಗರಬತ್ತಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಇಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಜನರಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. ಸೊ ವಿದ್ಯಾಭಿಷೇಕ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದೆ MOMCTಲಿ. ವಿದ್ಯಾಭಿಷೇಕ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನಲ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಟು 4 ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಓಕೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಈ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಓಪನ್ ಆಯ್ತು?
ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಸರ್ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆಲ್ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬೆಡ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟೀಸ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಫುಲ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ 3rd ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ಫುಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮೇನ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬೆಡ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ನ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ BBMPನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿ ಟು ಕಾಲ್ ದ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೈ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಡ್ರಾಸ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ದೆನ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೀವಿ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 4 ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ಗೆ. ವೈ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಓನ್ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಒಂದು ಥಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಬಂದು ಈ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಇನಾಗರೇಟೆಡ್ ಆನ್ 14th August 2022.
ಓಕೆ. ಇದರ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ನ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದಾನಿಗಳು ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅಗರಬತ್ತಿ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ಸ್.
They are not only agarbatti manufacturers, sir.
Okay.
They are full perfume, ಪ್ರಿಂಟಿಂಗ್,
Okay.
ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
But-
ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟು ಅಗರಬತ್ತಿ.
ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಅಗರಬತ್ತಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ
ರೈಟ್,
ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ ಈ
ಆಗ ನಾವು ಡೊನೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Correct.
ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ನಾವು ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಶಾ ಕಿರಣ್ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಅಂತ
ಹೌದು.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ
ಹೌದು.
ನಮ್ಮ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು.
ಹೌದು,
ಬಿಫೋರ್ ವೆನ್ ನಾವು ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ವಿ ಡಿಡ್ಂಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಎನಿಬಡಿ.
ಎನಿಬಡಿ. ಓಕೆ. ಅದೇ ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಅಜಗಜಾಂತರ
ಹೌದು,
ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ.
ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್.
ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಈ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ನೀವು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳು, ಈ ಜಾಗಗಳು, ಈ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದರ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಅಗರಬತ್ತಿ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ಸು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗಳು,
ರೈಟ್.
ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ದಾನಿಗಳು ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು
ಅವ್ರದೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೊರಗಡೆ
ಹೌದು.
ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ರೋಗಿಗಳು
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಆಶಾ ಕಿರಣ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು ಅನೇಕ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗಳಿವೆ, ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗಳಿವೆ. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಕೆಲವು ರೋಗಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಿದೆ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೂ ಇದು ಈ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೂ ತುಲನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಗಳು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ನಾನು ಅದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ. ದ ಮೇನ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಇಟ್, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ದ ಮೇನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಸೊ ಅವರ್ ಮೇನ್ ಮೋಟೋ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಬರೋ ರೋಗಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ತಾರತಮ್ಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ನೋ ನೋ ಸರ್, ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಓಕೆ.
ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೂ, ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಆ ತರ ನಾವ್ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಆಗಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲಾ ತರ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ.
ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಹೌದು.
ಹೌದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನೊಂದು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದಾಗ
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಆಯ್ತಾ, ರಿಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ,
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ರಶೀದಿ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆತರ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗ್ಲಾಡ್ ಸರ್ ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೌಂಟರ್. ವಿ ರನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್, 100% ಫ್ರೀ.
ಫ್ರೀ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಗಳ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಈವನ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ
ಇಲ್ಲ sir,
ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ
ಇಲ್ಲ.
ನೀವು ಅಲ್ವಾ?
As I said, it is 100% free without any cash counter.
ವಿದೌಟ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೌಂಟರ್. ಸೊ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಾಕ್ ಇನ್,
Correct.
ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ತಾರೆ
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಅಲ್ವಾ?
In this day and age where the concept of individualism has taken precedence, it is truly inspiring that there are people out there doing things for the society. I would like to thank every person that is behind this foundation, from every doctors and nurses to every trust member that is looking out for the people. This has been an inspiring journey. Thank you, Mr. Jagannath, for giving us this opportunity. I'm Prodhan Kumar, and thank you for listening to this episode of Twinkle at Twilight, and have a nice day.